Imagine a world where you are completely detached from a crumbling and aging infrastructure. No more rusted municipal pipes, no more worrying about lead levels or microplastics in every sip. In the most arid regions of the country, where drilling a well is a high-stakes gamble, a new solution is emerging. This is the story of absolute water sovereignty achieved through a new generation of solar technology. This device does not produce electricity for your appliances. It extracts pure drinking water directly from the air. Welcome to the era of the hydropanel, where the atmosphere itself becomes your perpetual source of life. The global water crisis is no longer a distant headline when you realize 91% of commercial bottled water contains microplastics. Our national water infrastructure is aging rapidly, with over 9 million lead service lines still hiding underground. For those building on remote land, the cost of extending a water line can exceed $75,000 before a single drop flows. Drilling a private well might seem like the classic answer, but it is often a $20,000 gamble on geology. Even when you strike water, nearly a quarter of private wells in America contain contaminants like arsenic at unsafe levels. True water sovereignty is not just about having a supply. It is about having a source you personally own and control. The journey to this technology began at MIT with a materials science professor named Cody Friesen. Growing up in the Sonoran Desert, Friesen saw energy and water as two sides of the same independence problem. His breakthrough was not a bigger filter, but a specialized composite desiccant material. This hygroscopic salt is loaded into a porous matrix that pulls moisture from the air with incredible speed. Unlike traditional generators that fail in dry heat, this system thrives even when relative humidity drops to 5%. The sun provides the thermal energy needed to release that trapped moisture as a concentrated vapor. Inside the panel, that vapor condenses passively into liquid water without the need for a noisy compressor. By utilizing a phase change process, the system naturally leaves behind the heavy metals and bacteria found in groundwater. Once collected, the water is sterilized with ozone and passed through a mineralization cartridge for taste and health. This is not just a kitchen appliance. It is a decentralized water utility, sitting right on your roof or backyard. A standard 2-panel home system currently retails between $5,500 and $7,500 installed. Independent testing in San Diego showed that a pair of these panels can produce over 2,500 liters of water per year. On average, a homeowner can expect about 1.75 liters of water per panel every single day. While that sounds modest, it is precisely calibrated to meet the drinking and cooking needs of a standard household. To understand if this investment makes sense, we have to look at the cold, hard math of the American water market. When compared to municipal tap water, the hydropanel is hundreds of times more expensive per gallon. However, if you are currently buying premium bottled water, this system pays for itself in as little as 18 months. For the millions of Americans living off-grid, this is not a luxury. It is a critical pillar of self-sufficiency. In the Navajo Nation, where running water is often a distant dream, these panels are transforming lives and homes. From the deserts of Arizona to the bottling plants in the Middle East, the technology is proving its scalability. When a hurricane or earthquake collapses the local grid, the hydropanel keeps working as long as the sun rises. It requires no external fuel, no grid connection, and no complex plumbing to maintain its daily output. The maintenance is straightforward, involving a simple annual swap of air filters and mineralization cartridges. Because the panels are heavy, weighing nearly 500 pounds, they require a professional structural evaluation for roof mounting. In colder climates, users must realize the system enters a hibernation state when temperatures drop below freezing. This is primarily a technology for the Sunbelt, where solar exposure is consistent and the need for water is highest. We must also be wary of cheap, generic condensation units that lack the proper health and safety certifications. True sovereignty requires equipment that meets NSF standards for water contact and pressurized storage. As we look toward a future of increasing resource scarcity, the ability to generate your own water is a massive asset. It provides a hedge against inflation, environmental contamination, and the failures of centralized government systems. Your property value increases when you can prove a permanent, independent, and high-quality water supply. The decentralized clean water revolution is no longer a concept of science fiction. It is happening on rooftops today. By choosing to own your source, You are opting out of a broken cycle of plastic waste and chemical treatment. You are investing in the health of your family and the long-term resilience of your homestead. Whether you are a prepper, an off-grid pioneer, or a suburban homeowner, the message is clear. Stop depending on a fragile network and start building your own fortress of autonomy. This is the ultimate path to permanent water sovereignty in an uncertain world. The engineering is proven, the economics are stabilizing, and the freedom it provides is absolute. Understanding the physics of the atmosphere is the first step toward true independence. The air around us contains more water than all the rivers on Earth combined at any given moment. This moisture is a renewable resource that belongs to no corporation and no government. Early pioneers used fog nets in the Andes, but they were limited by geography and wind patterns. Modern materials, science has finally unlocked this resource for everyone, regardless of elevation or wind. The heart of the hydropanel is a proprietary sorbent material that acts like a molecular sponge. It selectively captures water molecules while rejecting dust, pollutants, and volatile organic compounds. Unlike traditional dehumidifiers, it does not rely on energy-intensive cooling coils that freeze up. The energy required to release the water comes entirely from the infrared spectrum of the sun. This solar thermal approach is what allows the system to remain entirely off the electrical grid. A small photovoltaic strip on the side provides just enough power to run the internal fans and sensors. These fans optimize the airflow through the desiccant matrix to maximize the collection rate. The internal computer monitors ambient temperature and humidity to adjust the cycle in real time. This intelligent management ensures the highest possible purity even in changing weather conditions. For many Americans, the primary driver for this technology is the growing concern over PFAS chemicals. These forever chemicals have contaminated the groundwater of millions of households across the country. Because the hydropanel collects water from the air, it bypasses the contaminated soil entirely. The water begins as a pure vapor, leaving all dissolved solids and industrial runoff behind. It is essentially nature's distillation process, accelerated and refined by human engineering. After condensation, the water is stored in a food-grade, pressurized reservoir within the panel. An integrated ozone generator cycles periodically to keep the stored water sterile and fresh. Before reaching your glass, the water passes through a final carbon block to polish the flavor. The result is a crisp, clean taste that is consistently superior to tap or even standard well water. We must also consider the physical security of your water supply in an era of cyber threats. Centralized water systems are increasingly vulnerable to digital attacks that could shut down city pumps. When your water source is on your own property, you are immune to these large-scale systemic failures. This is the definition of sovereignty, the ability to provide for your family without asking for permission. For the homesteader, it means one less heavy bill and one more layer of safety. For the suburbanite, it is a statement of values and a commitment to personal health. The installation process usually takes less than a day when performed by a certified team. They will determine the optimal angle to capture both maximum sunlight and prevailing breezes. The panels are built to withstand extreme weather, including high winds and heavy hail. They use specialized tempered glass that is similar to what you see on high-end solar arrays. The modular design means you can start with 2 panels and expand as your family grows. Some users choose to scale up to 10 or 20 panels for small-scale agricultural projects. Imagine a greenhouse that generates its own irrigation without tapping into a local aquifer. This prevents the depletion of our precious underground water tables, which are currently at historic lows. By using atmospheric water, you are participating in a closed-loop system that doesn't hurt the local environment. It is the most ethical way to consume water in the 21st century. We are moving away from an era of extraction and into an era of generation. The psychological peace of mind that comes with this switch cannot be overstated. You no longer look at a drought report with fear, but with a sense of preparedness. You are no longer at the mercy of a utility company's rising rates or service outages. Your house becomes a self-contained island of stability in a rapidly changing world. Every time you turn on the dedicated tap, you are reminded of your own resourcefulness. This technology empowers the individual to reclaim a basic human right that has been commodified. It is about taking the power back from the monopolies and placing it in the hands of the people. As more people adopt these systems, we will see a shift in how we value land and location. Land that was once considered unbuildable due to lack of water suddenly becomes a viable home. This opens up new frontiers for those seeking a life closer to nature and further from the crowd. The economic reality of water sovereignty requires a shift in how we calculate return on investment. Most homeowners view water as a monthly expense rather than a long-term capital asset. When you pay a utility bill, that money is gone forever, leaving you with zero equity in your infrastructure. Investing in a hydropanel system is more akin to purchasing a home or a high-efficiency AVAC system. You are prepaying for 20 years of premium water at a fixed, predictable cost. In many states, this type of improvement can increase the appraised value of a remote property by significant margins. Let us break down the actual cost per gallon compared to the alternatives found in the American market. Municipal water is undeniably cheap, often costing less than a penny per gallon in major cities. If your only goal is the lowest possible price, and you trust your city S-pipes, the grid remains unbeatable. But for those on the fringes of the grid, the math changes once you factor in the hookup fees. Some rural water districts charge upwards of $10,000 just to tap into the main line. That does not include the monthly service fees and the inevitable price hikes that occur every year. Now, consider the cost of a private well, which is the most common path for off-grid living. A well is a vertical straw that depends entirely on the health and level of the underground aquifer. The water table drops due to a regional drought or nearby industrial farming, your $20,000 investment goes dry. You also face the ongoing cost of electricity to run a high-voltage submersible pump deep underground. There is the matter of water treatment, which is almost always necessary for raw well water. Iron, sulfur, manganese, and hard minerals require expensive salt-based softeners and UV sterilizers. These systems require constant maintenance, salt hauling, and frequent filter changes that add up over time. When you add the initial drilling costs to the 20-year operating expenses, the well becomes a major liability. Hydropanels, by comparison, have a very high initial cost, but extremely low and predictable operating expenses. There are no pumps to replace, no pipes to dig up, and no salt to buy every month. Primary recurring cost is the simple filter and mineralization kit, which costs about $150 per year. Over a 15-year lifespan, the cost per gallon averages out to roughly 80 cents to $1. This puts it in direct competition with 5-gallon water delivery services, which often cost more per gallon once you include delivery fees. Against single-serve bottled water, which can cost $8 a gallon, the Hydropanel is a massive financial win. Many families find that the system pays for itself simply by eliminating the need to buy cases of water at the grocery store. Beyond the finances, we must address the practical limitations of this technology to keep our expectations realistic. Sunlight is the fuel for this machine, and your geography dictates your total potential yield. A house in the cloudy Pacific Northwest will produce significantly less water than a house in the sunny Southwest. This is why a professional site survey is mandatory before any installation takes place. Engineers use satellite data to map your specific solar window and calculate your expected annual production. They take into account local humidity patterns and seasonal fluctuations to ensure the system meets your needs. We must also talk about the winter problem that faces many northern homeowners. Liquid water expands when it freezes, which can damage the internal plumbing of any outdoor device. To prevent this, Hydropanels are equipped with a smart hibernation mode that drains the internal lines when temperatures drop. This means that if you live in a place like Montana or Maine, your production will stop for several months of the year. For a full-time residence, it requires a secondary water strategy or a large indoor storage capacity to bridge the gap. However, for seasonal cabins or summers, this hibernation is a perfect hands-off safety feature. The weight of the panels is another factor that dictates where they can be placed on your property. Because they contain water storage and heavy structural steel, they weigh significantly more than standard PV panels. A ground-mounted array is often the most cost-effective and accessible option for maintenance. If you choose a roof mount, your rafters may need additional reinforcement to handle the static load. It is also important to consider the aesthetic impact on your home's architecture. The panels have a sleek, industrial look that fits perfectly with modern off-grid designs but might clash with traditional styles. Many users choose to place them in a dedicated utility garden away from the main house to maintain a clean look. This also allows for easier cleaning of the glass surfaces, which is vital for maintaining high production. Dust and pollen can block the sun's rays, reducing the thermal energy available to the desiccant. A simple rinse with a garden hose once a month is usually all it takes to keep the system at peak performance. This level of involvement is a small price to pay for the security of having your own independent water source. Let us look at how this technology is transforming entire communities that have been left behind. In the Navajo Nation, nearly 30% of homes still lack access to piped water or indoor plumbing. Families often spend hours every week hauling heavy water containers from distant community wells by installing small hydropanel arrays. These households are gaining their first taste of modern convenience and health. It is a profound shift to see children drinking clean water that did not come from a dusty plastic barrel. This same impact is being felt in the desert regions of Colombia, where the Wayuu people reside. Traditional water sources in these areas are often contaminated with bacteria or high levels of salt. The passive nature of solar water generation makes it the only viable solution for these ultra-remote locations. For these communities, the technology represents more than just convenience. It is a foundation for economic development. Clean water reduces the burden of disease and allows children to spend more time in school rather than hauling water. Moving back to the individual homeowner, the integration of smart technology is a key feature of the modern system. Every panel is connected to the internet via a built-in cellular or satellite link. This allows you to track your daily, monthly, and annual production directly from a mobile app on your phone. The manufacturer also monitors these panels from a central operations center to ensure they are performing as expected. If the system detects a leak or a drop in efficiency, you receive an automated alert with troubleshooting steps. This connected approach provides a layer of professional oversight for a system that is otherwise entirely off-grid. We should also examine the internal storage and delivery mechanisms that make the water accessible in your home. The water produced during the day is stored in a pressurized tank, allowing for instant flow when you turn on the tap. Because the panels include a small lithium iron phosphate battery, the dispensing system works even after the sun goes down. This battery is designed for a long cycle life, typically lasting as long as the panels themselves. The standard indoor storage tank is about 4.8 gallons, which fits neatly under a typical kitchen sink. Larger families or those with higher demand, 40-gallon auxiliary tanks can be installed in a garage or basement. The water is delivered through a dedicated, lead-free line to ensure the purity remains intact from the panel to the glass. Some owners choose to integrate the system with their high-end coffee machines or ice makers for the ultimate tasting experience. It is the subtle luxury of knowing that your morning coffee is made with the purest water on the planet. Now, let us compare the Hydropanel to other atmospheric water generators on the market. Most competing devices are essentially high-powered dehumidifiers that require a significant amount of grid electricity. These units, like the ones made by WaterGen, are excellent for areas with reliable power and high humidity. However, they struggle significantly in the very desert environments where water is needed the most. When humidity drops below 30%, these electrical units consume a massive amount of energy for very little water return. The Hydropanel remains the only solution that uses solar heat to drive the process, making it much more efficient in dry air. Distinction is critical for anyone planning a truly resilient, off-grid homestead. If you rely on an electrical generator for water, you are still dependent on a fuel supply or a large solar battery bank. The Hydropanel removes that middleman, turning sunlight directly into liquid water. In one elegant step, we must also discuss the importance of certifications when choosing any water technology. The industry is currently flooded with cheap, uncertified units from overseas that make bold claims about air-to-water production. Many of these units do not have proper sterilization systems, leading to a high risk of bacterial growth inside the machine. Note, they may also use materials that leach chemicals into the water, defeating the purpose of a clean source. Always look for the NSF markings, specifically NSF 61 for materials and NSF 58 for storage. These rigorous third-party tests ensure that the water you are drinking is truly safe for long-term consumption. Source Global has invested heavily in these certifications to provide peace of mind to the American consumer. Beyond the technology, there is a growing legal movement regarding the right to the atmosphere. As water becomes more scarce, legal battles over groundwater and river rights are becoming more intense. By harvesting water from the air, You are operating in a legal gray area that currently favors the individual. Western states have strict prior appropriation laws for surface water that do not yet apply to atmospheric vapor. This provides a unique window of opportunity for those looking to secure their own resource before new regulations appear. The concept of water sovereignty is deeply tied to the American spirit of self-reliance and grit. It is about looking at the landscape and seeing opportunity where others only see a barren desert. It is about making a choice to be a producer rather than just a consumer of life's most basic necessity. As we move forward, we will see how these individual choices are adding up to a global shift in water management. Beyond personal independence, we must look at the massive environmental footprint we are erasing. A single two-panel system can displace over 50,000 single-use plastic bottles over its lifespan. This is not just about avoiding trash. It is about stopping the massive oil consumption required for plastic production. The bottled water industry consumes 17 million barrels of oil every year in the United States alone. By producing your water on site, you are removing the need for heavy diesel trucks to transport liquid across the country. You are effectively shortening the supply chain from thousands of miles down to a few feet. The panels themselves are designed with a 15-year functional lifespan in mind. Most of the components, including the aluminum frame and glass, are highly recyclable at the end of their cycle. The lithium iron phosphate battery is chosen specifically for its safety and lack of heavy metal toxicity. Even in the face of extreme wildfires, the system provides a unique form of resilience. While smoke and ash can temporarily reduce solar efficiency, the internal filtration system keeps the water pure. The multi-stage air filters prevent fine particulate matter from ever reaching the desiccant material. This ensures that even during air quality alerts, your drinking water remains untainted by the outside environment. Architects are now beginning to integrate these panels into the initial design of high-end sustainable homes. They are no longer seen as an afterthought, but as a core utility alongside solar power and geothermal heating. For eco-resorts and remote hotels, this technology is a game changer for their marketing and operations. Guests can enjoy premium mineral water that is harvested directly from the pristine air of the location. This water as a service model is proving that sustainability can also be a premium luxury experience. One of the most overlooked benefits of the Hydropanel is its near-silent operation. Unlike mechanical atmospheric generators that hum like a loud air conditioner, these are quiet. You can sit on your patio next to the array and hear nothing but the slight whir of a small cooling fan. This lack of noise pollution is essential for maintaining the peace and tranquility of a remote homestead. The daily maintenance routine is essentially non-existent for the average homeowner. Quick visual check of the system's status light or mobile app is usually all that is required. When it is time to swap the mineralization cartridge, the process is as easy as changing a toner in a printer. Simplicity is a testament to the user-centered engineering behind the product. Some might wonder why the taste is so specific, and the answer lies in the sommelier-grade mineral balance. The ratio of calcium to magnesium is calibrated to mimic the world's most famous natural spring waters. This makes the water not just a utility, but a gourmet ingredient for your cooking and brewing. Coffee enthusiasts often find that the consistent mineral profile improves the extraction and flavor of their beans. It is an elevation of the daily ritual, powered by the sun and the air. We are also seeing a shift in how the next generation understands resource management. Children growing up in homes with hydropanels learn that water is a precious gift from the atmosphere. They see the direct connection between a sunny day and a full tank of clean, cold water. This reconnects us with the natural hydrologic cycle in a way that a hidden city pipe never could. The ethics of this technology are clear. We are using what is given freely without taking from others. Unlike pumping from a shared aquifer, your air-water harvest has zero impact on your neighbor's supply. The thermodynamic efficiency of the system continues to improve with every new generation of sorbent. We are now entering an era where nanotechnology is on to capture more water with less surface area. The role of artificial intelligence in the cloud monitoring system cannot be understated. Thousands of sensors across the globe feed data back to optimize the absorption cycles for different climates. Your panel actually gets smarter over time as software updates are pushed through its cellular link. Predictive maintenance ensures that potential issues are solved before they ever affect your water flow. The future of the smart home is finally moving beyond light bulbs and into critical life support systems. Despite the success, some traditionalists still remain skeptical of water from thin air. There is a psychological barrier to trusting what we cannot see with our naked eyes. The history of air wells dates back to ancient civilizations that used masonry to catch dew. MIT researchers simply took that ancient wisdom and applied 21st century materials science to it. The specific pore size of the desiccant is designed to trap water molecules while letting everything else pass. It is a molecular filter that works at a scale that traditional mechanical filters can never reach. The scalability of this technology suggests a future where entire neighborhoods share a decentralized water network. Imagine small microgrids for water, where surplus from one home can support another during maintenance. Peer-to-peer resource sharing is the next frontier for the self-reliant community. In urban areas, we may see hydropanel arrays integrated into the facades of high-rise apartment buildings. This would provide an emergency water source for city dwellers who are currently the most vulnerable to infrastructure failure. The social impact of water security extends to public health and the reduction of plastic pollution in our oceans. Every panel installed is a vote for a cleaner planet and a healthier future for our children. As we move into an era of climate uncertainty, these tools become our most reliable insurance policy. The cost of inaction is far higher than the initial price tag of a self-sustaining system. We are seeing a major shift in the insurance industry, where homes with redundant water sources are receiving lower premiums. This financial recognition validates what pioneers have known for a decade. Independence has a measurable value. The skeptic might ask if there is enough moisture in the air to support a growing population. Science confirms that the atmospheric reservoir is constantly replenished by the natural cycle of the sun and the sea. We are simply taking a tiny fraction of what is already there without disrupting the local ecosystem. This is a truly circular and sustainable approach to one of humanity's oldest problems. Real-world success stories continue to pour in from every corner of the globe. From the Australian outback to the hills of Appalachia, people are reclaiming their right to clean water. They are proving that you don't need a massive government project to solve a local crisis. You just need the right technology and the courage to take the first step toward autonomy. The transition to a decentralized world is not just a technological change, but a cultural one. It requires us to move away from the out-of-sight, out-of-mind mentality of modern utilities. It asks us to take responsibility for our own survival and the well-being of our families. This sense of duty is what has always driven the American spirit of innovation and exploration. We are the architects of our own environment, and we now have the tools to build it better. No more waiting for a repair crew that may never come after a disaster strikes. No more questioning the safety of the liquid flowing from your kitchen faucet. The Hydropanel is a beacon of hope in a world that often feels increasingly fragile. It is a solid, tangible piece of equipment that works for you every single day. As the sun rises each morning, it begins its silent work of transforming air into life. This daily miracle provides the literal foundation upon which you can build your dreams. Whether you are building a new life off-grid or securing your suburban home, the path is clear. Invest in technology that serves you, rather than systems that merely tax you. The clean water revolution is happening now, and the barrier to entry is lower than ever. We must embrace the tools that give us the freedom to live anywhere and thrive everywhere. The air is yours, the sun is yours, and now the water is yours too. Take the leap into a future of abundance and leave the era of scarcity behind. This is the definitive guide to achieving permanent water sovereignty in the modern age. The technology is here, the proof is in the cup, and the future is waiting for you to seize it. And step out of the grid and into a life of absolute self-sufficiency and peace of mind. Your journey toward a permanent and independent water supply starts with a single solar panel. The sky, and see not just weather, but the endless source of your next cold glass of water. This is the ultimate victory for the individual over the challenges of the natural world. Absolute sovereignty is no longer a dream. It is as real as the air you breathe and the water you drink.